We all know the Joint Management Committee (JMC) or Management Committee (MC) stipulated under the Strata Management Act 2013 SMA to take care of strata community comprises volunteers who have to use their personal time to serve in the various roles assigned to them. While most of them are genuinely passionate about the well-being of the community, there are unfortunately some bad eggs with personal agenda who takes advantage of the position for self-advancement. In this episode, I would like to enlighten strata owners of those small numbers of self-centered people within the community that may have personal agenda with ulterior motives titled to serve or self-serve. Please like my video, subscribe to it, after all it's free, so that automatically future videos could be then sent over to you. At HBA, I received several complaints. Let me read out a couple of the scenarios that are prevalent in the market. Scenario 1. There's this estate agent lady who is in the JMC, and she seems to have all the information of the owners, names, addresses, contact numbers. She periodically contacts me and my neighbors to ask if we wish to sell our condominium unit. She always claims certain investors wish to offer a high price. How does she obtain our information and contact numbers? Scenario 2. You have diligently paid your installments to your bank for the last 10 years, and the quantum of indebtedness have been significantly reduced. Then one day, you receive a call from a financial planner who is in the MC, and he asks, do you wish to refinance your property for another loan? As a financial planner, I can arrange it with the banks. You could use the money to buy another property. Scenario 3. I can do a better job to run the management and maintenance of our own apartment building. My team, although unlicensed, can also do property management by making the meager deposit refundable as bond to the JMB or MC. Trust me, I will not deplete your entire sinking fund or abuse my position. Scenario 4. During the AGM, this big-time contractor come investor is very vocal in asking the right questions, as many parcel owners are not familiar with SME legislation. Consequently, he is made the chairman of the JMC. He always seemed to have his own friendly suppliers, contractors, service providers, insurance brokers, and even A&B operators for everything in the management and maintenance of the common property. Now, let me enlighten you about Personal Data Protection Act 2010. Now, in Malaysia, we have the Personal Data Protection Act 2010 PDPA, implemented since November 2013, which is aimed at preventing abuse of personal data for commercial purposes. The Act plays a crucial role in safeguarding the interests of individuals and make it illegal for corporate entities and individuals to disclose, sell personal information, or allow the use of data by third parties. The penalty for non-compliance is between 100,000 to 500,000 and or between 1 to 3 years imprisonment upon conviction. A candidate should not have conflicting personal and professional commitment. For example, the unethical estate agent and the overzealous financial planner in scenario 1 and 2 above may have particular interest in serving the JMC or MC to obtain private information and details of owners so that they may gain advantage and priority with their fellow owners for their listing purposes, sales, purchase, financing, and rent. This clearly contravenes the PDPA legislation, and the aggrieved party may lodge an official complaint to the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia at www.kkmm.gov.my for an investigation. Be wary of one-issue candidates. Newcomers frequently make good volunteers, but how much interest has the candidate during AGM election shown in the community and its undertaking? Does he appear to be suddenly interested?
I'm interested.
Have there been regular meet-up and participation in community activities? If not, investigate the sudden interest.
Let's investigate.
Be particularly careful about one-issue candidate who volunteers because they want to take over property management. Be particularly cautious of those unlicensed property companies, property managers that have managed to infiltrate committee members in the JMC and MC if they are not themselves in the committee. They may paint a glossy picture of what they can do through their years of experience or their so-called knowledge of the SMA. But do they have the professional qualification, management, and technical experience and pass the stringent test of professional competency? Are they registered with the legislated Board of Valuers, Appraisal, Estate Agent, and Property Managers at www.lppeh.gov.my, which is the sole statutory regulatory board governing property managers that issues licenses to those registered ones in Malaysia under Act 242. Person with pecuniary interest. Pecuniary interest is an interest that the person has in a matter because of a reasonable likelihood or expectation of appreciable financial gain to himself or through another person with whom he is associated. Therefore, it is best that any owners who have vested interest in the management and maintenance of a stratified building should recuse himself from seeking election to the JMC or MC. In any decision-making process of a subject matter by the committee, a member of the committee who has direct or indirect pecuniary interest or vested interest in the subject matter should declare his interest therein and immediately recuse himself from the decision-making process. Although this is not provided in the SMA or the Strata Management Regulation, it is the fiduciary duty and responsibility of any committee members for good self-governance. Nevertheless, Section 87 of the SMA prohibits appointment of a managing agent having professional or pecuniary interest as produced in our screen for clearer understanding. Challenging duties. Although the JMC or MC is made a voluntary position, they have to be taken seriously because they involve people's well-being and their investment. Most owner corporations are headed by a leader who might also be the chairman of meetings. Very often, those who are most vocal at the meeting are elected.
You're loud. You're tough.
But that may not be sufficient for the long term. Strong and principled leadership is an essential component of every successful JMC or MC. In fact, I have come up with a video in episode number 14 talking about the criteria, qualification, and how to choose the right leader to prosper. Please visit episode 14, which I have done earlier. My next talk will be titled Invoke Section 18A of the Housing Development Act to prosecute delinquent housing developers. Do we lack laws or the will to enforce them? Would amending the Housing Development Control and Licensing Act and the related regulation honestly solve the problem of abandoned housing projects? There's nothing wrong with the current law. The million-dollar question is how many delinquent housing developers have been punished and prosecuted in the court of law with so many abandoned housing projects littered in Malaysia? Why has Section 18A of the housing law on criminalizing abandonment not been invoked? Let me explain what Section 18A of the housing law entails in the next episode. Cheers.